Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Gear Garage. As you can tell, we are not in the garage again. We are on location in beautiful Dillon, Colorado, which is just below Keystone Ski Resort. And you know, I've actually decided to move up here for the summer, and so far so good. As you can see, we've got beautiful scenery here. That is, I don't know if you can see, you got Lake Dillon behind me, Buffalo Mountain and Red Peak, and you know, this area is a great place for mountain bikes. And you know, a lot of triathletes don't necessarily get into mountain bikes, but you know, for training, they're great. It's a great way to help develop strength on the bike. And also for racing, you know, you have the whole Xterra series. And for those of you that aren't familiar with Xterra, it's basically off-road triathlon. You still swim in the lake, and then you just go out on a beautiful mountain bike trail, and you have a trail run, and a lot of fun. The events are usually, you know, about an Olympic distance or shorter, so, you know, anywhere between an hour and a half and 2 hours. And, you know, they're a lot of fun. And, you know, when it comes to Xterra racing, you know, pretty much you can use all the same equipment that you already have. You don't need a new wetsuit, you don't need a new helmet. One thing you are going to need, though, is a mountain bike. And today, that's what this review is going to be all about. I am on the Blue FS Carbon. Now, Blue is a company that a lot of you may be familiar with in the triathlon world. They make a great series of triathlon bikes, the Triad, and they are also the official bike of USA Triathlon. But this, the FS Carbon, is a great bike, and it's something that maybe, you know, for someone who's looking to get into Xterra, or someone who's looking to get in, you know, a little bit different sort of training on the bike, it'd be a great option for you. Now, the FS Carbon, FS stands for full suspension, which basically means you've got front and rear suspension, and carbon as well. The bike is made entirely of carbon. You got the front and the rear triangle. The carbon obviously keeps the bike light, and you know, full suspension. Well, my recommendation is, if you can, go with a full suspension bike. You're going to pay a little bit of a weight penalty for it, but having the rear suspension on it, definitely a lot more comfortable, and it actually does improve your ability to climb because the rear wheel stays in contact with the ground a lot better than if you're on a conventional hardtail. Now, the Blue here comes spec'd with, it's a RockShox SID team and the RockShox Monarch 4.2 rear shock. Now, the bike is really designed as what I call kind of a cross-country setup. It's really designed for someone who doesn't need a whole lot of travel, and their bike doesn't need a whole lot of suspension. They're not going to be dropping off 4 and 5 foot cliffs. So you've got about 100 millimeters up front, and you've got about 3 inches in the back, which is, for most triathletes, you know, what you're going to be riding on is really all you need. You don't need a big, what you'd call long travel bike. The other nice thing about a cross-country bike like this is the setup. It's a little bit lower, a little bit longer wheelbase. You know, some of your other mountain bikes, you tend to feel a little high on them. You sit really high. This one, so far, you know, I really feel like it's a really nice position for it. And also, you have disc brakes. It's you know, hydraulic disc brakes, which again is something I definitely recommend. It's better stopping power. It's more consistent in wet and muddy conditions. So, you know, it's time to hit the trails. I'm going to hit some of these trails here. We're also going to go racing at the Teva Mountain Games as well. So let's go and have some fun. Alright, so as you can see, I've taken it out on some single track, I've raced it up in Vail at the Teva Mountain Games, and really the FS Carbon in all times was absolutely up to the task. It really handled well, I had plenty of travel, and I got to tell you, I really did appreciate the lightweight carbon fiber frame on some of those climbs, you know, from 8,000 to 9,000 feet. So, you know, I think that really speaks to how well Blue has engineered this bike. They really knew what they were doing. The FS Carbon comes in 3 versions. You can get it as a frame only. You can get it spec'd with SRAM X7, or like this bike, SRAM X9. With the X9, retails for $4,600. Go to rideblue.com to check out all the details on this bike and all their other bikes. You can also find your local retailer, so you can go out, get on this bike, try it for yourself. I really think most triathletes would benefit a lot from riding mountain bikes. The strength, it's just a lot of fun. You can start to race Xterra, so really look into it, and I think you'd really enjoy it. So thanks for checking in. I'm Coach AJ, and until next time, train hard, train smart, train safe.